If you work in a facility where you traditionally export your conformed sequences for multiple visual effects artists to work on, Hiero and HieroPlayer can form an extremely useful part of your pipeline, potentially saving hours of work on the part of both the person doing the conform and the artist themselves. But what if you don't ever pass your conformed sequence out to a group of artists? What if you're actually the person doing both the conform and the visual effects on a sequence? Well, just as I showed you how the HIERO NUKE bridge could vastly speed up your workflow when using HieroPlayer, the same applies if you only want to use a master seat of Hiero alongside your NUKE install. So in this second workflow video, I'll be showing you how you can set up Hiero for round tripping easily with NUKE using the brand new HIERO NUKE bridge. So we're going to start off exactly as we did before with our fully conformed Nissan X-Trail sequence, but instead of going up to File Export to generate files for a group of visual effects artists to use, I'm going to come up to Project and come down to Edit Settings. I'm then going to click on the Export Round Trip option here on the left hand side. Now, even though we're not exporting these files out for a group of visual effects artists to use, and in fact we're doing all of the work, both the visual effects and the conform, on a single seat, we still need a place to store the generated NUKE scripts and the final rendered images, and this dialog is where we do exactly that. So at the top we have external media track name, which I'll explain shortly, and underneath that we have project root. Now, project root is very similar to the export root field you'll find in a traditional Hiero export dialog. In other words, everything that's generated and all final images will go out to this location, which you can see I've currently set up to be on my desktop. Underneath that, however, you'll find a few things that should be very familiar to those of you who have used Hiero's export dialog before. At the very top we have shot structure, which defines how the shot is exported on disk. So in here we have a path for our NUKE project file that Hiero is going to generate for us, and also our final render location, which of course is going to go in and sit on the right node in our NUKE file. Now if I wrap up shot structure, underneath that we have right node settings. So of course this defines the settings on the right node inside that generated NUKE script. So things like file type, color space, the format, etc. And underneath that we have control over the handles that are available to us in the export, as well as the start frame of our NUKE script. So now that I'm happy with my round trip settings, I'm going to close the project settings dialog and let's take a quick look at working on a single shot. So I'm going to head down on the timeline and zoom in somewhere around about shot 90. And what you'll notice is that none of these track items have a NUKE tag on them at this point, meaning none of them have been exported to NUKE scripts. But what I'm going to do is select shot 90, I'm going to right click it, and you'll see at the very bottom of this menu we have a NUKE option, and inside of that we have Open in NUKE, just like we did inside of HieroPlayer. Now if I click this, Hiero is going to take a look at our project settings to see where we wanted to store any generated NUKE scripts and any rendered files. It's going to create a NUKE script for me on the fly and open it up for us to take a look at. Just like that. So we can start taking a look at our NUKE script. Now, just to head back to Hiero for a second, it's also done one other thing, and that is to create a brand new track called VFX and put an offline item related to this shot on it. Now if I take a quick look in my project edit settings again, what you can see is that in the export section at the top of here, our external media track name matches that of the brand new track. So these two items link up. So I'm going to close my project settings, I'm going to come back into NUKE, and we're going to take a look at a first version of this shot. So I'm going to grab my right node and pull it down slightly. I'm going to hit G to bring in a grey node and pull that into the pipe. And then I'm going to come up to my gain and make this a little bit green. Now of course, because all of this script is generated by Hiero, we don't need to think about anything at all in the right node. I can just hit render. And as soon as this sequence finishes rendering, I can come back into Hiero and see that pop directly into place. So I'm just going to move the playhead to the middle of the shot, select it and hit Shift A to set my in and out points, so as soon as it pops in we can immediately begin reviewing this shot in context of the full sequence. So to give you a quick idea of what's going on behind the scenes, I'm going to hit stop and bring back my Finder. And inside of here we have the folder that I added to my project root, and you'll see it's not empty. We have a single folder inside of here called shot 90, which is obviously the shot that we just worked on. And inside of that folder, this represents the entire structure that I added to my project settings. So in here we have a place for all of the renders and versions that come back from NUKE, and of course the NUKE script itself. So as you can see, the introduction of the HIERO NUKE bridge to Hiero and HieroPlayer 1.6 provides you with an extremely flexible and quick way of not only working with your shots, but viewing your renders in context of the entire sequence as well.